We are going to be reading the prologue to Romeo and Juliet today by William Shakespeare. And the first time we're going to do this, I'm going to read it to you. And I'm going to ask you guys to please be paying attention to and be able to answer this question at the end. What do you notice about the structure of the prologue? So what do you notice about the way that William Shakespeare decided to organize and structure the prologue to the play? Now it says, enter chorus, and the chorus for Shakespeare was just a single actor usually. So one person who would come out on stage, welcome the audience, and give a summary of what the play will be about. And so the chorus comes on stage and says, two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which, but their children's end, not could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage. The which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. And then the chorus will exit. So what do you notice about the structure of the prologue, how it's organized? And I think that our line breaks here will do a little bit of hinting towards what I'm looking for. So notice that the first 4 lines have a line underneath them. Then starting from lines 5 through 9, an additional line. So 4 lines of text, 4 lines of text, 4 lines of text, and 2 lines of text. Good. The entire prologue is written as a sonnet. It's in the form of a Shakespearean sonnet. So I want you to take a minute with a partner, and I want you to label all of the things that we know to be true about a Shakespearean sonnet. So I would like you to label the rhyme scheme. I would like you to label the quatrains. I would like you to label the couplet. Extra points to those of you who remember what a couplet written in iambic pentameter is called. And we're going to come back in a moment and kind of discuss what you came up with, and I'll guide you through it if you struggled at all. All right, welcome back. Let's take a minute to take a look at how this prologue is organized. So the first thing I want to do is look at the rhyme scheme. So when we go up here, it says, two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. Dignity and mutiny rhyme, scene and unclean rhyme. Let me get rid of this, sorry. So we're going to label our rhyme scheme, and I'm actually going to do it to the left of the text this time just because there's a little bit more space. So that's perfect. Okay, so we have A, B, A, B. Then our next quatrain. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. So now we have foes and overthrows, life and strife. So we have CD, CD, and fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage. So now we have EF and EF, because love and remove, rage and stage. And then finally our last couplet here, which did anyone figure out what it's called when it's written in iambic pentameter? It's called a heroic couplet. That is very messy. Hold on. If you didn't have this written down, because we're going to label the quatrains in a moment, but take a second to write down the last 2 lines. rhyme with each other. It's a heroic couplet. And our rhyme scheme ends with GG because the words attend and mend rhyme. Good. So now let's take a minute and go back up to the top, and we are going to label our quatrains. So here we have quatrain 1. Our next 4 lines of text are quatrain 2, followed by quatrain 3. And if we think about how a Shakespearean sonnet is organized, we know that that first quatrain is kind of like the exposition to a story, where we meet, for example, maybe characters or learn some background information. So here we learn that our play is set where? Yep, it's in Verona, so we learn about the setting. We also know that from ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. So we learn a little bit about the fight between these two families. So I'm just going to change the color of my pen now, I don't know, to blue. And I'm going to label a couple of things here. We learn about the setting. And we also know that quatrain 1 deals a lot with the exposition. Exposition of the play. It's almost like this first quatrain. It's almost like Act 1, where we're learning about the setting, the characters, the background information. So we have quatrain 1 followed by 2 and 3, where things get more complicated. And then finally, we learn a little bit at the end in that couplet. The loose ends are kind of tied up. So our couplet says, the which, if you with patient ears attend, so if you're patient, you listen, you watch, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. So they've summarized the entire play for you, but very, very briefly and vaguely. And now, if you sit here with us, we will continue to tell you the whole story, and we will figure out what's going to go on. Okay, so the entire prologue is organized in the form of a sonnet. So what I would do now is answer this question. What do you notice about the structure of the prologue? It's a sonnet, which we will also see embedded into other acts and scenes within Romeo and Juliet. Now next, I want to go over to this purple portion, and you'll notice that in your text there are a number of areas where there's either purple text written out, which you should pay attention to, or it will say things like skip this portion or start reading here or ask you to do specific things. So the purple is very important when you see the purple font or the purple writing. So this says, read and mark the prologue, modernize it in your own words. So the first step, I'm going to read it one more time to you guys. And I want you to go through and I just want you to circle any words that you're not clear about what they mean. So if you don't know the definition or the meaning, I want you to take a minute and circle them as we read it one more time for that repetition so that you can try to figure out and modernize it eventually. Because again, it says, read and mark the prologue, modernize it in your own words. And we're going to do that in a moment. So I'll read it to you again, and I want you to circle any words that you do not know. 2 households, both alike in dignity. I'm not quite sure what that means, so I'm going to circle it. In fair Verona, where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge break to new mutiny. Mutiny. Might want to look that one up. Where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these 2 foes. Maybe you guys might not know what loins or foes means. A pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured, piteous overthrows, not sure, doth, archaic word, don't know, with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked loved and the continuance of their parents' rage, which, but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage. The which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Toil. All right. So now what I want you to do with a partner is you're going to take a moment and I want you to talk about the words you didn't know, try to fill in some blanks. Again, make sure you're utilizing your resources. So in Notability, you can always push down on that word and ask for a definition. You can ask for pronunciation and it will help you. I would jot down what the meaning of those unknown words is so that you can modernize it into your own. And after you do that, again, with your partner, I want you guys to line by line go through the prologue, and I want you to put it into your own words. So for example, I'm going to do the first line with you guys so that you know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's see here. All right, I'm going to read the line again. 2 households, both alike in dignity. So what I would do if I were you, I'm going to change it to pink this time so that I know that I'm summarizing it. And I know there's not a lot of space. But I'm going to write down 2 families of the same social status or socioeconomic status. So I'm just going to say of the same status or stature status. Okay? In Fair Verona, where we lay our scene. To summarize that, I would say the play is set in Verona, Italy. Play is set or takes place. Takes place in Verona. Okay? So I've done those first 2 lines for you. Your job is to go through the rest of the line, so there are 12 additional, and you are going to the right of each line, put it in your own words, modernize it, look up the words you don't know, figure out the meaning. We will come back and talk as a class in about 10 minutes.